Hey there, it's Justin from the Flack Fam, and due to some strange circumstances that leave me more available than Bethany, I'm going to be doing this video alone. So wish me some luck. Today we want to share a secret with you that made our time in Rome one of the best experiences we've ever had. As the title of this video alludes, this is not necessarily a trip report. This is a review of a service that we believe made our experience amazing. We weren't paid or compensated for this in any way. We weren't even asked to make this video. This is just our sincere feelings and thoughts about our experience. In planning for our trip to Italy, we were really overwhelmed at the thought of visiting one of the world's most historically rich destinations. We were on a cruise, and like we said, our time in Rome was limited due to the time we could get off the ship and when we could get back on, and we wanted to make the most of it. We looked at the excursions offered by the cruise line, and the idea of being in a large group tour just didn't appeal to us. On top of that, the tours offered by the cruise only visited a couple of spots, so we would have to pick and choose from our list of things we wanted to do. After doing a lot of research and talking to my brother, who's a travel agent, we decided that the best option was to book a private tour. That in and of itself was a challenge for a few reasons. We visited Rome in May of 2022, only months after Italy started opening back up to tourists, so doing research on companies that hadn't done business in a few years was confusing. So many companies that had listings or reviews on sites like Google and TripAdvisor were either no longer in business or the information was completely out of date. In addition to that, the services that were listed weren't necessarily what was being offered, meaning they might have had other tours offered prior to the pandemic that just weren't available now. And the only way to find out if they were still in business or what they were offering was to either email them or call them, so it made it very time-consuming and a bit frustrating. After almost a month of researching private tour companies, I was just as confused as when I started, but the trip was getting close, so I decided I had to take a leap of faith. I had just emailed a company that I had seen a few reviews for, but I wasn't able to access their website. I got a response about a day after emailing them and immediately booked with them without question. The name of the company is Limousine Service in Italy, and we booked a 10-hour tour of Rome from Civitavecchia. The tour provided us a private driver and a tour guide that would take us to many of the stops that we had on our list. Honestly, more than we expected to be able to visit in just 10 hours, and it also included lunch. We're not going to hold back like some people do in these kinds of videos. We're going to tell you up front exactly how we feel, that this was the hands-down best decision we made for this trip. On the morning of our day in Rome, we got off of our ship and were greeted by one of the nicest people we met in Italy. His name was Marco, and we were lucky enough to get to have him as our driver for the day. He made our entire family feel welcome, and right off the bat he started teaching us Italian, starting with how to pronounce the name of the city that we were in. I think he enjoyed watching me flounder, but was equally as happy when I could finally pronounce it correctly. Marco was calm during heavy traffic that threatened to make us late, and that calmness helped him stay alert to different routes to bypass some of the traffic once we got into the city to rendezvous with our tour guide. That route allowed us to actually arrive a bit early, and Marco took us to a cafe to enjoy an espresso and a croissant before meeting up with the most amazing and knowledgeable tour guide we could have asked for. Our guide's name was Allesandra, and you could tell that she was more than just knowledgeable. She had passion for Rome and its history. Allesandra didn't waste a minute. She immediately got to know each member of our family, asked us about our interests, and jumped right into teaching us, even before our first stop at the Colosseum. You could tell that both Marco and Allesandra were very familiar with the city and with each other, because they barely had to communicate to know what the other was thinking. At every stop, they pulled up to a location very close to the front, which was very different than the tour buses we saw parked blocks away, with hordes of people walking in. Because the tour company took care of all of our reservations and tickets, and because of their reputation, we never waited in line to get into a venue. When we arrived at the Colosseum, we walked straight through security, all the while Allesandra was teaching us. Not in a way that she was talking at us like we experienced with other tours. She was actually using what she knew about our family to have conversations with us that made the entire experience more personal, exciting, and engaging. From the Colosseum, we moved our way through Rome, seeing the Capitol Hill and Roman Forum, Circus Maximus and Aventine Hill, Navona Square, the Pantheon, and Trevi Fountain before heading to lunch. Now, we know that most of the experience that we had was planned, including where to go to lunch. However, they were very open to us changing things up. They asked us if we had a place that we would like to go to lunch, and only if not would they make arrangements at a place they knew. And boy, are we glad we let them. The restaurant they took us to was amazing. The staff there knew Allesandra very well, and on top of that, she ordered for us and did an amazing job. After lunch, Allesandra and Marco took us to the Vatican, which was the final stop of the day. To our benefit, Allesandra knew almost every Vatican employee we came across, and that made for a speedy way through the museums. Allesandra's knowledge of the Vatican and the art that adorns its corridors was absolutely astonishing. By the end of our tour, we were exhausted, but not just because it was a long day. The amount of information we took in from her was unbelievable. As our tour of the Vatican came to an end, it was inevitable that we would have to say goodbye to Allesandra. And to my surprise, it was a really hard thing to do. She had been an integral part of one of the best experiences of our lives. Not just an integral part, she was literally the architect of it, and we couldn't have been more grateful. After some heartfelt goodbyes, we got back in the van with Marco, and he took us on an hour-long trip back to Civitavecchia so we could get back on our ship. And trust us, saying goodbye to Marco was just as hard. It wasn't just Allesandra and Marco that made our trip memorable. There was someone else behind the scenes, probably more than one person, but this individual made certain that everything went perfectly. In fact, I made a mistake when booking and neglected to tell them the name of the ship that we'd be coming on. Nicola did everything he could to try and reach us for days, but without service while on the ship, we weren't getting his messages. But that didn't deter him. Even an hour before we were supposed to be picked up, Nicola was calling and texting me. We finally connected, and he was able to direct his team in time. He also followed up with us after to see how we enjoyed our tour. Come to find out, Nicola is also the person who helped me book the tour when their website was down for maintenance. We spoke with a lot of people on our trip, and since we've been home as well, that have done private tours in Rome. Some weren't happy with their tours, and others really enjoyed them, but none of them could believe the experience that we had, and everyone we talked to has been extremely jealous. At dinner the night we returned from Rome, we all agreed that we wanted to take Marco and Allesandra to Florence the following day, and maybe even ask them just to become members of our family. If you're going to Italy, even if it's not your first time, we highly recommend booking a private tour through Limousine Service in Italy. They made learning fun and engaging, and while there are a lot of options out there for you to choose from, I put this company at the top of the list. I want to give a sincere thank you to Allesandra, Marco, and Nicola for the lifetime of amazing memories that they provided us with. We hope to get to see you the next time we're there, and the next time you find yourself in Italy, tell them the Flack Fam says hi. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave us a comment and make sure you subscribe to the channel. See you next week.